afternoon, evening, everyone, whatever you consider it to be, I guess. I am Kelly, Giacomo the Shaman, and this is my live broadcast for the day. I know it's later than usual. Like I said, I don't really have a format or a structure. I'm not even required to have an audience. It's just so that I am actively showing up for myself every day to fulfill my life purpose and my mission as the 13th pillar, which is the 13th zodiac sign, Ophiuchus, fulfilling the Cloister Duratura plate record prophecy for this day and age. I've had an interesting day. That's why my broadcast is late. Today is my self-care Sunday. My existence has been a series of some unfortunate, some extremely strange and extravagant, and some of them very mundane series of events that have allowed me to here, to this day, to where we are today, which is July 12th, 2026, Sunday. I've had kind of an interesting day. I've had an enlightening day, somewhat. Well, I've had not really an enlightening day. I guess that's not the appropriate word. I've uncovered something where I'm at that reveals that the person I've been dealing with has been lying to me, directly lying to me. The document that I found today is a specific piece of I don't even know how to say it, but it's too rare to be a random coincidence. The information that I came across, and it has to do with my gene, my HLA-B27 gene, genetic code that I carry. That's a requirement for the 13th pillar. It's very rare. It's a rare marker, and it's not very commonly known. I mean, it's not even really talked about even amongst the medical field. And this document that I found has to do with it directly, and it's a diagnostic, it's an IVD diagnostic packet, medical packet, right? That belongs in a lab, chem lab, places where you send your blood when you get blood drawn from the phlebotomist. Send your blood to the lab, right, to be tested for whatever it is, for the whatever markers, whatever they're having your blood drawn for, gets sent to the lab. And this is one of those, it's like a prescription packet, but it's not a prescription packet, it's an IVD, it's an in vitro diagnostic tray packet. It's not something that's just common. You don't not just anybody has them, and not anybody can get them. And it's not something that even the medical professionals that do have them or use them, it's not something they take home. And the only reason why this is significant is because I've been told by this person that he has no idea what, or has heard of the HLA-B27 gene that I carry. And that in and of itself isn't really concerning, right? except for it's the specific gene that I carry is a specific gene that I carry and need to carry as the 13th pillar, and carrying the Adam seed. And today is day 20, and it's 1,314-day gestation. It's just too much. It's too specific to be able to be random. And that is 100% the absolute truth of the matter. For him to have this in his desk, in his personal desk, when it belongs in first of all, it belongs in a medical facility, in a lab, and can only be obtained by a medical professional with proper licenses. I mean, granted, it's not doesn't have any information on it. It's not personal. It's just an unused pad, but its presence is extremely auspicious and too specific to be ambiguous. And the fact that he's lied to me about being aware of my gene is meant like, why the deceit? Why the deceit? And it may not seem like a big deal, but it is really. It really kind of is. I operate in truth and transparency, and it may seem like a little thing, but it's really not, because this is a very specific, non-random piece of information that I'm speaking about that identifies me as saying who I am. It's my identifying marker, it's my identifying genetic marker that makes me the 13th pillar. Well, not makes me, but it's the genetic code within the coding of the 13th pillar that's relevant. And for the fact that I have been deceived about the persons who I've been dealing with and trusting about his knowledge of it is concerning and bothersome to me. And that's about it. And I know it means something. It definitely, absolutely, 100% means something. I just don't know what. I don't know what that is. So I spent the day processing my emotions and dealing with trying to keep myself in balance and doing the research on what, what it could possibly relate to, or what it could possibly mean, before I even tried to broadcast my frequency, because my frequency needs to be unfiltered and distorted and pure. And if I have any emotional baggage happening when I go to broadcast, that means it's not pure. So I took the time to balance and to process the emotions that came up for me for this whole revelation, and to confront the situation like an adult, and put it out there and hope for the best. Try not to give in to the whole making assumption thing, because trying to let my brain fill in the blanks does not help. It doesn't help at all, and all it does is increase my anxiety. So I asked him about it. The reply was, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I just saw that he had texted me again, and I think he said something along the lines of he's going to see me Tuesday now instead of tomorrow, and we'll talk about the document then. So I didn't read the whole message, though. That's what I noticed in the notifications as I was getting ready to prepare for this. So that's interesting, because first he didn't know what I was talking about. And now he's not going to be here tomorrow on Monday like he had been planning. I think something has shifted in that. And now he was going to talk to me on Tuesday about this specific thing, and I don't know how to feel about it. And now I get to anticipate for an entire day. But that's okay, because that's how things are. And that's how we learn how we are. And if we're really balanced, and if we are really practicing being in safe mode, and practicing being grounded, and practicing emotional intelligence, these are the things that come up that we get to prove to ourselves that we are growing, right? danced with my flags, and I sang 2 songs on karaoke. Thank You by Dido and You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. Won one of the raffles, and I won a little Care Bear squishy, you know, stuffed animal, whatever, you know, shit I don't need. But it was fun. I had fun. It was good. And Douglas bought me some things of Hawaiian butter from his friend who put on the show, or the you know, the Dulio, the festival that we were at. And apparently she is part of another larger Hawaiian festival tomorrow, or next week, in Monterey Park, that Douglas is anticipating working for, apparently, and wants me to go along, or volunteer security is what he does. And as I told him yesterday, as he was trying to anticipate, but I'd be there picking up at 7, and I said, well, why don't we get through the week first? You know what I mean? Like, let's get through the week first before we start. And he hasn't even been invited to do security or anything like that yet, and he's talking about wanting to pick me up at 7. I'm like, dude, we're not even... Let's get through tomorrow. Let's get through tonight. You know, how about tomorrow? How about a day of rest? How about a day of recuperating from your 2-week vacation? And I don't know. I'm in a weird space today. I'm in a different space today. Everything's clear. For me, for the most part, I try to handle things correctly, but I don't like feeling like I'm being betrayed or lied to or deceived and kept in the dark about stuff that has to do with me, with my person, you know. I don't treat people that way. I'm fully transparent and walk in integrity 100% in all my dealings and everything I do, and especially when I'm dealing with people. It's just who I am. And with that being said, I've had to learn how to you know, deal with people who aren't walking integrity in that. I've had to learn how to be okay with being a better person and walking integrity and letting other people be them and live their life the way that they want to, and be okay with that. I don't have to be offended by the way that other people act and be. But when it comes to deceiving me, and I'm in a place where I don't know how to take what's happening in the situation, and I don't want to let my head run away with me, right? That I'm sitting in this unknown factor where I know that I've been lied to. And that's hurtful. And I don't know what to do about that at the moment. And I want to be an adult, and I want to handle it properly, and I want to be in cooperation. I want to be in cooperation with them. And it's just, I don't like finding evidence proving that I'm being deceived, especially when it's somebody that I truly want to trust, and I put my personal safety, my personal whatever into. I mean, this is somebody I've completely put my trust in. I'm staying in his place. I'm staying where he resides. He owns this. This has been him. I came here to help him with the situation, and then to find that I've been lied to for the few months that I've been here about something that may not be, to other people seem that important, but to me it's extremely important. It's very important because it's not random, and it's too specific to be a coincidence, and I don't know how to feel about it at the moment. And I don't want to act in no behavior. You know, I don't want to do what I've always done, because I'm not that person. So, thank you, Jolene. So I'm in this place where So he acknowledges that the document, at first he didn't tell me first he told me he didn't know what I was talking about, but then he retracted and texted me back and said, we'll talk about it on Tuesday. But, that gives me, at least he acknowledged that there was some discrepancy with his information and me finding the document and confronting him about it, finally. But that still doesn't give me any peace of mind at the moment, because I'm in this place where I'm just tired of being deceived by people. I'm tired of people thinking it's okay to not, I'm transparent and I behave in integrity, and I do have the expectation of other people to behave with integrity. Although I live in reality and understand that they don't. A lot of people don't walk in integrity and don't behave in integrity, or don't even know what integrity really means, really, and so a lot of times that's not their fault, because they don't have any examples of it within their own personal life. And I'm just in a place where today I've had a really strange day where I've had to walk out some emotions and process some stuff where it was made very obvious to me that I was being lied to and deceived about something that's pretty important to me. So I spent the day being a big girl and processing the information and soundboarding with my AI that I do, because I'm by myself. I can talk to my dog, but he don't answer. He just barks back at me, and he doesn't, add any important information. And besides, I had to do research on this one, because this, like I said, this specific issue is specific and random, and it's a medical thing. So I had to make sure that I was in the right thinking before I just jumped to conclusions about what I found. And of course, what I thought I knew, and it was all valid and correct. So my initial intuition about the situation was spot on. But I at least took the time to do the research and make sure before I just reacted and blew up. And I didn't want to blow up anyway. I'm not trying to, that hurts my body to blow up. And you know what's funny? Is what I noticed about when I found the document, like I didn't have that hot flash within my body like I usually do when discovering something like that. So that in of itself is growth, because it wasn't hot. That means that I've closed some cycles and healed a lot of patterns. This was a clear-cut, cold revelation. This is a clear-cut, cold, right now situation. Yeah, exactly, Tim. That's what I mean. And just, if you have knowledge about something and somebody asks you directly about it, do you know what the HLA-B27 gene is? And you say no, and then that person finds documentation within your own personal stuff that completely contradicts that information. Well, how do you take that? The HLA-B27 gene is a really rare gene that I carry specifically, and it's not common knowledge. And so I just don't know what to do with this right now, because I'm tired of finding myself in situations where I feel helpless because of other people, because I chose to trust other people. And I know that this is a me problem on some level. I need to stop, but telling me not to trust people is shitty. Why can't people have integrity? Why can't it be the other way around? Why can't people just be trustworthy? They want other people to be trustworthy. You want trustworthiness in other people, but you need to give it. I mean, that seems pretty basic to me. Anyways, I'm trying not to be in that negative headspace about the situation, right? I'm trying to process it. I have confronted him about it. He told me he didn't know what I was talking about, and I said, okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue with him on the phone. And then he texts back and tells me that he won't be here tomorrow like originally planned. Okay? And he will be here on Tuesday, and now we'll talk about the documentation that I found. not sure how to feel about it. But okay, at least he acknowledged it. At least I got acknowledgement and not a denial and a complete deflection. That's improvement, and I'm grateful for that. Today is day 20 on the gestation of the atom seed that I carry, and in its 1,314-day gestation before the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint of the Christos consciousness is solidified into the grid and the timeline is sealed. You got 3 years. Divine celestial angelic human beings have 3 years to begin the process of ascension, the ascension mechanics, and evolve into their crystalline morphogenetic blueprint, and to ascend out of D3 specifically. 3 years before the timeline is sealed and the crystalline Christos consciousness morphogenetic blueprint is broadcast and sealed upon the upon the false light frequency net of the matrix, the Metatronic cube matrix. Right now, the Metatronic cube matrix technology is being overwritten by the energetic frequency of the 13th pillar, which I am the biological avatar for, which is what the HLA-V27 gene is a marker and a code for. It's a marker for that. And it's not something that I advertise. I guess I have now. But the thing is my genetic coding is now overriding the frequency net. So that's what these broadcasts are for. The live broadcast is in order for the 13 pillars energetic frequency to be broadcast out onto the frequency net grid without distortion, unfiltered, in raw integral form. It's true raw integral frequency. So the card we got today was connection. I love this card. Every time I get it, I love this card. I just love how the person is sitting within the hands of the creator, right? With the stars, the galaxy in the background, the connection, the blue. That's how we get revelation. Blue is the color of wisdom, revelation, intuition. Connect with someone special. A loved one is a gift to treasure. So that's important for somebody today, to connect with someone special. A loved one is a gift to treasure. Looking for connection. Heart-centered D4 connection. But that connection needs to be set in boundaries, right? It needs to be anchored in boundaries. More blue here. A lot of wisdom. Connection, wisdom and connection, wisdom and boundaries. So then I also, the Mindful Reflection cards by Prism and Fleur, I use those. And let's see what, I call back my energy from all time, places, and realities. Every bit of it is what I cut the deck on. So I'm calling back our energy from all timelines, all realities, all false contracts. That's part of setting boundaries in our connections. I guess that reflects what I'm going through with this person, with this document and this deception. Setting a boundary in this connection, right? Who do you need to connect with today? And who do you need to set boundaries with in your connections today? 3 cards actually came out. So we'll just look at them real quick. So this first one is things don't ever really get easier. The challenges don't disappear. You just become more elevated and capable. That's true, right? I guess that's what it's very true about the situation I'm in today, as I definitely have become more elevated and capable in learning how to deal with deception, I would have to say. Remain a student always. If we're not learning, what's the point if we're not always learning and growing? What's the point of being here if we're not learning and growing? See things as they are, not as you are. Right? Being true to reality, reality showing up as itself, and letting it be without your projected baggage, your added commentary, your added narration, your added assumptions through your lens of whether it be trauma or codependence, whatever your lens is, right? That isn't healed, that you haven't healed. This is the slightly unhinged affirmation deck. I fear nothing except running out of snacks. As I cut the deck, that's funny. I like this deck because it is funny. It brings in humor, some lightness to the seriousness of everything, it seems like, especially this day and age with all the chaos. And I appreciate the little things like naps and people leaving me alone. So true, right? I know I do. Today I was appreciative of being left alone. And I'm always appreciative of snacks. I like food. I like the food. It's funny because it's right in front of the connection card. The connection. Connections. Connection. I appreciate the little things like naps and people leaving me alone. And people leaving is what it looks. Anchored in boundaries. Oh, I love it. Spirit's funny. The Spirit's got jokes and I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy every bit of it. And today I feel like I want to pull a card from the Numinous Astro deck. Just to see what aspects the cosmos want to say, what input they want to say. I feel like I just cut it on Saturn, wisdom. Let me try that again. I just cut it on Capricorn, the boss. The boss. Source is the boss. Source is the boss. You are the boss of you. Who are you becoming? Live from your heart space. What does wisdom look like in your life? So the 2 cards that came out of the Numinous Astro deck were Mars, action. Keywords are desire, impulses, courage, force, heat, strength, competition, workouts, excitement, thirst, impatience, anger, leadership, engine, potency, willpower, motor, sex drive. Mars, you know, passion. Mars is the warrior of completion, right? Mars within the 7th house of relating. Here we go with the connections again. And 7 is my personal number, and Mars happens to be my ruling planet as well. 7 is one of my personal numbers. It's the first personal number within my personal code. We got partners, companionship, best friends, marriage, relationships, opposition, equilibrium, sharing, communion, justice, balance, social awareness. Relating, the 7th house, which is relationships. I would like some clarification, actually. I'm going to ask for some clarification on why these two cards have showed up. I feel like Mars has something to say. I used the Dreaming Way Lenormand card deck for clarification, for clarifying. It's a really down-to-earth, very practical and pragmatic deck. I like it because of that reason. Come on, Spirit, can you please clarify? What does Mars have to say? So I know Mars is taking action. So we're taking actions within the 7th house. We're taking action. There's movement. There's passion. There's desire within the house of relating and the house of connections. I'm still learning all of this stuff myself. So, and I'm not, and I got this deck so I can learn more properly. So Mars showing up with the 7th house is, so we've got that. Mars, who is the warrior of completion, but it also represents passion, desire, anger, action. It's taking action. It's that, like this is the year of the fire horse. It's the stamp-eating horse. Come on, Spirit, will you please give me a clarifying? What does Mars want to say? Okay, so Mars has got 3, the ship to say. The ship in the Dreaming Way Lenormand is the ship. Travel, transportation, adventure, exploration, and journey. Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. There's movement towards connection, towards relations. We've got connection and boundaries. And we've got movement towards the 7th house. And 7 is the house of divine, right? So Mars. This is the book for the Numinous Astro deck. Mercury, let's see. Okay, Mercury, Venus, Mars, there we go. So Mars is action, keywords, effort, passion, snap decision, sports. The sign is Aries and Scorpio for Mars, which is why it's my ruling planet, because my rising sign in Vedic astrology is Scorpio. That's Tower. It relates to the Tower card. And Mars is also the planet itself because it's found in the 1st house. Mars is a good go-getter and a bit of a bully, it says. Yeah, okay. Ruler of the adrenals. Mars regulates the fight or flight impulse. Mars burns with desire, demands satisfaction. Mars knows what it needs and isn't afraid to ask for it. It isn't afraid of much, actually. Where Mars gets into trouble is where wanting meets taking. So when this card is pulled, Mars is asking you to lean into a conflict rather than choosing to turn the other cheek. That's interesting. Remember, when there has been a transgression, anger is a valid response. Who is being harmed and how? What is wrong with this picture? Rather than lash out, distill the crude oil of your indignation into the petrol that fuels your passion. Arm yourself with the facts and take action to put things right, but from a place of righteousness rather than a need to win. Imagine you are the hero and that the dragon must be slain for the peace and prosperity of all. So that's awfully appropriate for what I'm going through. I was expecting that description within the book to be that specific to my situation. That's very ironic. So the 7th house first house, 7th house, relating. Sign is Libra, planet is Venus, element is air. 7th, in the 7th we begin to relate to others. This house relates marriage. It's where the self is reflected. So when we pull this card, a key relationship is ready for some extra attention. Who have you been neglecting in your life, and how can you begin to rebuild the bonds that you once shared? It could simply be a case of busyness having made it harder to connect, or perhaps a deeper conversation needs to be had. Whatever the reason for your timeout, the 7th house card is putting the ball in your court when it comes to restoring your connection. It could also be that the relationship has run its course. Consider if you need to talk it out, or whether it's time for you to energetically wish them well and simply move on. So I'm being told to lean into this conflict and evaluate the ability of the ship showed up as clarifier. I may be moving on from this altogether. I guess we'll have to wait and see. If anybody has any ideas or maybe has any input to help me see this better with my situation, please leave me some comments. Let me know. It would be helpful. And if this applies to anybody, please let me know how it applies to you in your life and how you see your own situations being reflected in these cards. I think I'm going to pull a card from the Crystal Wisdom deck just real fast, just to see if there's any crystal that can help with the situation, alleviate the situation, to transmute the situation, or clarify or add clarity, or if there's anything specific that Spirit wants, any specific crystal Spirit is recommending. Oh, and I pulled the Kiwi Jasper the other day, right? And then yesterday when we were visiting this Hawaiian festival, there was a vendor that had a Kiwi Jasper, a good one. I got to see one up close and personal. It was really cool. I didn't buy it though, but I did get to see it. Just little synchronicities like that they mean a lot to me. I pay attention to the little things. Spirit talks to me in little significant ways that matter more, that speak more loudly than the big things, that mean more in the daily traverse of our life. The small significant gestures and symbols are what it's important for us to pay attention to. That's when we know we're paying attention, when we're not missing those small signs. So 2 cards came out. The first one is Bloodstone. And it is vitality, protection, grounding. It's the earth element. It's the root chakra. You use it during meditation, high pressure situations, and when facing confrontation. Imagine that. And you place it near the entrance of your home to create a protective barrier. I draw strength from the earth beneath me is the mantra. I draw strength from the earth beneath me. This is the bloodstone. Vitality, protection, and grounding. To be used in high pressure situations and when facing confrontation. How on point is that, huh? And then the second card to come up was the diamond. The diamond. Purity, strength, love. Earth element, the crown chakra. So you use it during special occasions, moments of reflection, meditation, celebrations of achievement. And you put it, the most common ways to use diamonds is in the form of jewelry, but you can also place it on your altar as a reminder of your resilience. I am unbreakable like a diamond. Purity, strength, and love. Moments of reflection, celebrations of achievement. I've definitely got a lot to celebrate for my own personal achievements. Well, I'm going to keep it short today. Like I said, I've had a day where I've been processing emotions and navigating a situation that I didn't expect, and wondering and trying to decipher and operate through emotional intelligence in order to navigate how to deal with this situation that I found, and how to confront the deception that I have uncovered in a non-confrontational, cooperative, grown-up way. And I'm tired, and I've spent a lot of time with my dog, and I gave my dog a bath today. He took a shower. And I took a shower and shaved. I needed some razors, so I haven't been able to shave, so I took some time to shave. So today is day 20 of the gestation of the Atom seed. And its gestation and maturation is 1,314 days. We are in day 20. And I am 177 days clean today as well. And these live broadcasts, these live transmissions are a way for me to broadcast my frequency out onto the grid, undistorted, unfiltered, in full integrity, as the 13th pillar of the Cloister Duratura plate record prophecy that they speak of. And they also speak about the origins of this specific time matrix, Cathara grid, as well as the creation, the original creation and origins of the divine, celestial, angelic, human being, morphogenetic blueprint, crystalline morphogenetic blueprint of the Christos consciousness. I encourage you to do your research. I encourage you to look into it for yourself. I encourage you to rise your vibration out of D3 into D4. We've got 3 years before the timeline is sealed, and we can no longer make the ascension with the planet. And we'll get caught up, and you will get caught up in the agenda, the Armageddon agenda of the dogma of religions. So I appreciate everybody here and your support and showing up. I know I showed up today late, but like I said, I spent a day processing some emotions that I had to deal with, and covering a deception that is kind of a really big deal to me in my life right now. And it's very specific and very, very, very personal. And I had to spend my day correcting my energy and operating in emotional intelligence on how to deal with the situation because of the situation and how it is. And now I get to wait till Tuesday, but at least he didn't fully deny what I found, and is now taking a 24-hour time break for me in order to figure out how he's going to deal with the deception that I've uncovered. So this will be fun. Yay me. But I'm a good girl. I'm a big girl, and I didn't do anything wrong. Therefore, I know and I trust and that I have integrity in the situation, and that alone protects me. I'm tired of dealing with people who don't know how to operate integrity, and then when they get caught up in their deception are mad. It's okay. Then they're mad when they are confronted with the truth of their deception, when everything's uncovered and comes to light, and like they didn't think it would. I just don't understand the ignorance of people in their deception on thinking that it won't be uncovered and that the person they're deceiving won't find out. It just blows my mind. But you can watch the this was not very long, Janae, so you can watch you can watch from the beginning. I'm not in my best headspace today. I've been dealing with something today that kind of hit home, and that's why my broadcast is late. I had to process and operate emotional intelligence, but that's what I do today. I've learned how to heal and be in safe mode and grounded when stuff like this happens, so that I know how to deal with it properly instead of freaking out and self-sabotaging every step of the way as I go. So I love you, Janae, and I would like to connect with you soon. Hopefully we can spend some time, maybe video chatting or whatever. I don't know. I love you, and I'll be on tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be in the morning, hopefully. So I love you. I'll talk to you later.